It's time for the whole 9 yards. Hello again, everyone. I'm Ralph Ventre, fired up and ready to go. It's a full slate in Week 8, highlighted by a Friday night special. Let's take a look in our opening drive. We start the drive with the only non-league matchup on the Week 8 schedule. Central Connecticut steps out of conference and up in class. Pete Rosamondo's Blue Devils travel south to face the Chanticleers of Coastal Carolina. They're currently in transition up to the Division I FBS ranks. Central Connecticut has had some success in the pass game of late. They'll look to keep that going against a tough CCU team. The Blue Devils have allowed the second fewest quarterback sacks in the NEC, and they've amassed at least 240 passing yards in each of the past 3 games. Now moving into the 3-game conference portion of the slate, this matchup takes us to Fairfield, Connecticut, where both Sacred Heart and Robert Morris are looking for their first Northeast Conference victories. Robert Morris finished on the short end of a seesaw battle last week at defending NEC champion Duquesne. The Colonials did some special things on special teams. We'll talk a little more about that later. As for Sacred Heart, they hung on for a 31-24 win over Ivy League member Cornell, completing the non-conference portion of their schedule at 5-0. The Pioneers, who have won 3 non-conference road games, will be at home on Campus Field this Saturday and will have all of the action live here at necfrontrow.com. Our second Saturday NEC matchup will unfold in Smithfield, Rhode Island. It's Bryant hosting Wagner. Marty Fine's Bulldogs will look to bounce back from last week's 38-3 defeat at SFU. They're 1-1 in league play. They handled Central Connecticut at home back on September 24th. Last week's showing at St. Francis was uncharacteristic in a number of ways for Bryant, especially on third downs. The Bulldogs had the highest third down conversion rate in the NEC, but converted only once in 12 chances at SFU. As for Bryant's Week 8 opponent, Wagner, well, the Seahawks are looking for their first 3-0 league start since 2000, when they won their first 5 conference contests. How are they doing it? Well, they're taking care of the football. They've committed a league-low 5 turnovers in 6 games, and they have a pretty potent rushing attack led by a man who we will talk about in our next segment. Now for our final play here on the opening drive, we shine the spotlight Friday night, Loretto, Pennsylvania. It's an NEC matchup 11 months in the making. These two teams played for the conference crown last November, with Duquesne prevailing 30-20. Many players on both sides are back for this year. There will be a lot of familiarity between these two programs Friday night in Pennsylvania. High emotions, star-studded players, a battle of NEC unbeatens. You won't want to miss this one. 7 p.m. Friday night. Watch ESPN.com. Let's take a quick look at the NEC football stock market. Let's see who is trending upward. This week's shout-out goes to Wagner Jr. Denzel Knight. Knight was inactive as a freshman in 2014, played in 7 games in 2015, mostly in a special teams role, but this year he's establishing himself as one of the most explosive rushers in the FCS. Knight has gained 506 yards rushing on only 55 carries this season. That's 9.2 yards per clip. Last week, he victimized CCSU for 150 yards, 11.5 yards per carry. The junior from Rochester, New York, has 4 touchdowns, and he is a hot commodity right now. Denzel Knight's stock is on the rise. I'll take a Twitter timeout. This week, we look at a tweet from a former All-Northeast Conference quarterback, a former professional baseball player as well with the Kansas City Royals, Wagner alumnus Nick Dosher. Dosher still keeps tabs on his Seahawks, was watching last week's featured game against CCSU, and there's no question Dosher was pleased when his alma mater scored 15 unanswered points to turn a 21-10 deficit into a 25-21 victory. As you can see, Dosher was even more impressed that the comeback win came on the road. The former All-NEC signal caller makes a great point here. Wins on the road do not come easy. And NEC teams have had plenty of experience on the road this year. We mentioned earlier, Sacred Heart, 3 of its non-conference wins came on the road. Meanwhile, St. Francis U played the season's first 4 games away from home, only one of 2 FCS teams to start with 4 straight on the road.
Somerset, it's an NEC audible.
This week, we hear from St. Francis senior quarterback Zach Dreyer. The efficient field general will certainly be focused on the prize come Friday night in Loretto. Earlier this week, Dreyer admitted that last season's 30-20 loss still stings him and a number of his senior classmates.
We want to get it back for last year. Last year we unfortunately fell short of the title due to that game. But it's very exciting. I know a lot of the upperclassmen, a lot of guys that kind of had that sting from last year are very excited to get back at them this year.
And now it's time to end the show with our Did You Know? Dropping some NEC football knowledge on you on a weekly basis. Did you know Robert Morris has scored 4 special teams touchdowns this season? That's a team record. Robert Morris is only one of 2 FCS teams, Central Arkansas is the other, to score on 3 different special teams type plays this season. Kick return for a touchdown, punt return for a touchdown, and blocked field goal for a touchdown. One more note on those Colonial special teams. Kickoff returner Dante Satcher ranks 3rd amongst FCS active career leaders in yards per run back. So all indications are showing it will be a great Week 8 in Northeast Conference football. It starts a day early. Remember, Friday night special, 7 p.m. Eastern Time from Western Pennsylvania. It's St. Francis hosting Duquesne in the grudge match. 2 conference games on Saturday. Central Connecticut visits Coastal Carolina. Enjoy a full week of Northeast Conference football. For NEC Front Row, I'm Ralph Ventre. Thanks for watching the whole 9 yards.